What's up guys, Ewan here, welcome to another video. Today I thought I would sort of talk to you guys a little bit about starting out photography, some of my tips for what you should worry about, what you shouldn't worry about. Today is a really nice day, so I thought I'd come down to the park and do it down here. So yeah, I thought I'd bring a skateboard as well, so that's probably the B-roll you saw before this. So yeah, let's dive into it. First tip. So my first tip may seem a little bit obvious, but it's take your camera everywhere. You're starting out photography, you need practice. And so everywhere you're going, take your camera. You never know what opportunities there may be for photos. So yeah, always family gatherings, that kind of thing, always great for photos. Meals out and that kind of thing also are great. Like I've had some photos, like this photo was outside a TGI Fridays, I think, on a dinner out. So just take your camera everywhere, take photos whenever you can, and edit all of your photos so you get better both at taking photos and editing them in Lightroom. So for my second tip for you guys is to get a cheap prime lens, or get a prime lens in general. So your camera generally comes with a cheap zoom lens. It's a kit lens. It's generally not very good. They tend to be cheap and plasticky and not very sharp. They tend to be just to get you started in using your camera or whatever. So they want to make it as cheap as humanly possible, so they can make the add-on to the body as cheap as possible. And most camera manufacturers will do a 50mm 1.8 lens, which is generally known as the Nifty 50 or the Fantastic Plastic, because it's cheap. It's they tend to be about £100 to £200, so really not very much money. But it's a fixed prime lens, so there's no zoom on it, which is really good for your photography. It tends to sort of make you think about focal lengths and how to frame the shot and all of that kind of thing, moving where you are to frame the shot rather than just zooming. And also it tends to give you that shallow depth of field look, because they tend to be much faster. They have much wider apertures than zoom lenses, so you can get that nice shallow depth of field, blurry background in your photos, which is really, really nice and a great thing. You can tend to get much better looking, much more professional looking photos. I keep forgetting to film the bits in between where I move, so I'm now in a completely different part. And we've got to film the skating part, so that's why it's sort of jumping around a little bit. But my third tip for you guys is watch tutorials. Learn different things, different photography styles, how to shoot portraits, how to shoot at night, all of that kind of stuff are all, you can gather a lot from watching other people do it, watching other people explain how they do it. So definitely just watch tutorials on YouTube. I know Peter McKinnon does a bunch. If you want to sort of learn about Lightroom, Lucy Martin does some really, really good Lightroom tutorials. Learn those kind of things, how to use different tools in Lightroom. It's just watching other people do that kind of thing can really sort of up your game as far as both editing and shooting video. Another thing is look at other people's work. Follow a bunch of photographers on Instagram. Find out what they're doing. Find out what makes their photos great. Find out what you like in photos and try and mimic that in your own photos. Maybe not necessarily copying it exactly, but take what you like from different photos, take inspiration from photos, and implement that in your own work, and you'll improve massively. So the next tip is try every type of photography. You might go into photography going, oh, I want to do portraits or I want to do landscapes. But try everything you can. Obviously, wildlife photography, pretty difficult without the gear, but everything else, try everything and see what you enjoy. You might enjoy what you think you wouldn't enjoy, and you might not enjoy what you thought you would enjoy. So try everything. Do every type of photography, and then you can find out what the different types are that you enjoy, and then stick to those and hone your craft in those areas. Another thing is you'll see a lot of people say find your style. You'll look on Instagram or wherever you follow photographers and see that their photos all are very coherent and they all have their style. If you see a Peter McKinnon photo somewhere else, you'll know it's Peter McKinnon's photo because it has those elements. And people always say find that and always try and chase that. But you'll find that over time. Shoot what you like, shoot how you like. And sort of pull elements from other people's photography and sort of implement it in your own, and it will start to gain some consistency there. Don't worry too much about the Instagram grid at the moment. I know it's nice to have a sort of a coherent colour scheme throughout your Instagram grid, but just try everything for now and then sort of whittle it down to what you definitely want to do and what you enjoy. Having said that, photography is the Wild West. It's an art form. Do with it what you want to do. You will come into photography very differently to other people will. You will have a different perspective than everyone else does. So shoot how you want to shoot, create the photos you want to create, and you'll end up with your own style that is very different from everyone else's. So I think my last tip, and definitely not least, is don't get disheartened by your skill level. So we always see great photos and we go, we want to do that. We want to create those photos, we want to take those photos. And then when we look at our photos compared to the photographers we follow, they're very different in skill level and quality. So don't get disheartened that you can't make those incredibly good professional photos from people that have been doing it for 8 years or whatever. Look at their photos and see what makes them great and try and implement that in your photos, and you'll slowly grow, get better. So give it time for you to get better and improve. So that is it from me today. Thank you for watching. Definitely subscribe to this channel. I think it's down there somewhere. Subscribe to this channel. Leave any comments for any suggestions for videos. Any questions you have about this video, definitely leave them down there. I just started a podcast. Well, actually it was about 6 months ago, but it's been so long since I last made a video about podcasts called Show Focus. If you want to check that out, look that up in your podcast player. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya. There we are. My third tip for you guys is to watch tutorials. Learn from other people who... Do you freaking mind? Shut up. And a plane. And a plane. God. Shut up.